Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites. How we doing today? Hope everybody is doing well. We got some things to talk about. So recently on a new show called Crowned, there's Kendra G and then the crew, Vivica, Selena, and I think Lisa Ray. So essentially it's cocktails with queens minus Claudia Jordan. So that's like their new show. And a clip from this show, Kendra G shared a clip of the show. And she shared a very personal story. Now, I've never heard her talk about this before, so I am only going on the context and the details that she divulges. I don't have any more information than that. And for the purposes of this live stream, I'm not going to need more information than what she shared because she actually shared quite a bit. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and share the clip.
Okay, so what's the one thing you've done in a relationship that you wish you could take back and be honest, ladies? Why y'all thinking I got one?
Okay.
So when I was in college, I had a boyfriend, and I wasn't over my high school boyfriend, but I had a college. And I ended up getting. He was a college boo. He was a good man, but I was still connected to my high school boyfriend. So in college, you have those breaks. I went home and saw my high school boyfriend. We ended up linking up, and I got pregnant. I got pregnant, and I was a senior in college.
I stand corrected. Whoever that other lady is, that is not Lisa Ray. I don't know who that lady is, but we'll continue. And I want y'all to listen carefully. I may run this back twice so you can hear it.
And I had a decision to make, and I was like, you could have this child. You have two things. I never wanted to have a baby at that time without being married. Mm-hmm. And I never wanted to have an abortion because I felt like people were using abortions like birth control. And I didn't respect that. So I said, either way, I'm breaking one of my rules because he's not my husband. Yeah. So I said, you know what, God, I'm choosing not to have this child. And I have no regrets. I'm so believing women should have their own choice. I have no regrets about my decision. I'm not proud of it, but it was the right decision for me. But I have to honor that I had a whole nother man that I ended up cheating on and got pregnant by somebody else. We always talk about how men do us wrong, but women, we do got to admit, sometimes we did a man wrong, right?
So what happened?
So we end up obviously breaking up, but what happened was
he told him.
No, he found out. Okay, he found out. We broke up, but then we got back together years later and we got engaged. And it's actually how it ended up in Chicago. He forgave me. We got engaged. He lived in Chicago at the time, got me to Chicago. But one thing that happened, I was still career focused. And whenever he would get mad, he would bring it up.
Of course.
And I said to him, I said, here's the deal. What I did was terrible, and I have to respect that.
But it's the past.
But if you can't forgive me, I gotta live with it. But you gotta make a decision. Because if you can't forgive me, then we gotta keep it moving. You can't bring it up whenever you want to win an argument. Like, because I can never win that argument.
Right.
But if you haven't forgiven me, I gotta live with it. But we gotta part ways. So in the end, we were engaged, but then we learned, because to me, marriage is more than just love. They got to be on the same alignment of life.
Of course.
And we didn't have the same alignment of life. Like, I was chasing career dreams that he, at that age of 28, let's buy a house, home, have some kids, and live happily ever after.
You just weren't on the same page.
No, I wasn't on the same page.
Yeah.
So, but I regret cheating on him and getting pregnant by another man, though. Like, he didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
So I don't honor, he didn't deserve to have
Have you forgiven yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because I was young. I totally forgave myself. And that's why I talk about it so freely, because I think I'm not perfect. And I live in not being perfect. Like, I don't want anybody to think I'm perfect. Like, don't think I'm perfect. I want you to know I'm a human being that had human experience, and I did some things. If you want to judge me, you could judge me. I don't give a shit. I forgave myself.
Good.
I was a young girl. I would never do that again. I had to grow up for it, but I had to take responsibility.
Well, listen, I have the same story.
How do I get the In the Black Network app? You can get it from the Apple App Store. You type in the Black Network, but because it's a new app, you got to scroll down some, like 10 or 12 spots. And then once you see.
In any case, it was a very interesting share that she had. One thing that I want to do is I actually want to sort of give like a little bit of respect for her coming out and saying a story like that, because that is not a flattering story. And the reason why I'm going to give a little bit of respect for that is because of this. The show that Kendra G runs and the way in which she now approaches that show is in a way that the women on the show, or the women who regularly watch the show, our people have like a savior complex. I don't know if that's really the term for it. But if you're on a platform, or if you are a celebrity, or if you are on some platform where people are looking to you maybe for some advice, or you speak in a way that maybe sometimes hold people accountable or whatever, we have this thing where the person who might be delivering the message has to be pristinely perfect for all their life. And they can't have made a mistake, or they can't have made a bad decision, or they can't have made poor choices before. I like transparency in individuals that have platforms, such as hers, such as mine, such as anybody. If y'all understand what I'm talking about. Because there is no perfection. There is no such thing as I never made a poor choice in my life, or I never did something that I now regret that I did, something I shouldn't have done, or some things I shouldn't have been involved in, or whatever. Nobody is above that reproach. Not a single individual, not me, not nobody. I got some stuff in my past. It's like, oh my God, these was horrible decisions, or I involved myself in situations that I should not have been involving myself in. And it's like, oh God, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody, no one, no matter what they say or who they are, doesn't have a past. is what it is. Now, with that out of the way, she said a lot in that clip. She said a lot in that clip. And pretty much everything that she said in that clip is why a lot of women do not have men as they get into their 30s and as they get into their 40s and things of that nature. Okay? She said a lot. The first thing that she said was that she was in college and she was dating a good man. But that the problem wasn't him. The problem wasn't something he was doing, nor was it the environment. The problem was her still being sexually attracted and emotionally attached to her ex-boyfriend that had been her high school boyfriend. So that's number one. Getting into a relationship with someone who's better than your ex. Okay? Who's better than your ex. But not being over your ex. To the point where if your ex ever enters back into your atmosphere, you going. And you'll do so at the detriment to the destruction of a healthy, current, ongoing relationship with a good man. I'm going to give you the end first before I keep going. She may have been saying that she's forgiven herself and things of that nature, and she may have. But Kendra, like so many other women, has never recovered from that. She has never recovered from those choices. That set of choices that she made at a crucial part of her life, at a crucial point in her life, shaped the rest of her life, particularly personally and romantically. And she's not unique. So many other women do that at crucial points in their youth. You see, Selena said, well, I got a similar story. And so many women have that story. And the trick and the trap is thinking that they're going to be able to recover because they were 22, 23, 24, 25 when these decisions were made. And they're thinking, I've got time to redirect and I'll find me a good man later. And then they get in their 30s. And then they get in their 40s. And they are trying to figure out where are the good men. And it's not like there are not good men at that age bracket at the time that they're looking for those men. Those men are still there. Those men are still around. The issue is that either A, those men are not checking for those women anymore, or B, she can come around those men. She may have a few men that do check for her, but she's at a point and a mindset where she can't cooperate with them men. So therefore, she consistently disqualifies herself from these men and these relationships. You picking up what I'm putting down so far? Right? So the first issue is that she is, or she was, emotionally dishonest with herself. And so many women, ladies, I need y'all to listen to Kendra G's story as a cautionary tale, because I guarantee there's a woman, if you are not that woman, there's a woman in your circle somewhere that is doing this same thing or has done this same thing. It is a cautionary tale of making critical bad choices and decisions at a very pivotal point in your life. When you are in your 20s, when men are more liable to take you seriously for potential marriage and relationships, when you are in your prime, when you are in your most malleable state. And these are the things that consistently keep women, particularly Black women, at the bottom, scuffling and struggling as they approach the wall and as they go past the wall, as they go beyond the wall. So, going back to her emotional dishonesty, she's not honest. She was not honest about the fact that she still wanted to deal with her ex from high school. Now, we don't know this guy, but he's an ex for a reason. The man is an ex for a reason. She didn't stay with that man for some reason. For as much as she felt connected and as much as she felt attracted and as much as she felt whatever she felt for him, they did not remain in relationship. But she could not be honest with herself enough to deny other relationships and just deal with the fact that she not with him and give herself some time to get him out of her system. Because women be needing time sometimes to get certain folks, certain men out their system. They be needing time for that. And apparently for her, it was that man. Whoever that man was, that was him. She needed time away from him. Not wasting another man's time. See, it's highly likely that she saw this other man in college and she noticed a couple of things. Number one, he was a good dude and she needed to snag this dude. That this is the dude that she needed. The high school dude was probably the dude she wanted. The college dude was the dude she needed. And there was something in her that knew she needed that man. And she pursued, or he pursued, or whatever the case may be, and they got together. Yet, she was still attached to that other man. I'm pretty sure that the college man had no idea how attached she was to that other man. So, when the college let out for break and she got to go back home where this other guy was at, her high school boo was at, she let him break it down. she let him bust it down again. Okay? Because you not able to deny him. And to the point where she allowed him to get her pregnant. Now, then she says, well, after I got pregnant, now I'm in between a rock and a hard place because these are both things are things that I know are situations I know I'm not supposed to be in. Number one, I'm not supposed to be in a situation where I'm carrying the baby of a man I'm not married to. So I should be carrying my husband's child, but this man not my husband, yet I'm pregnant. And number two, I don't necessarily like the concept of abortion. However, if I have this child, number one, it's going to be evidence of me cheating. Number two, I'm going to have to live with this kid. And number three, having this child is going to derail my professional aspirations. I am not going to be able to do what I want to do professionally if I have this kid. So let me do what I gotta do. And she had a baby deletion. Okay. Now, the other man had to find out. She didn't say I went and confessed. I told him what I did. She said he found out. So we don't know how he found out. But the bottom line is that he found her out. They break up. Okay? So she fumbles this man off of the back of her own actions. How many women have done something similar? Even if there was no baby or baby deletion involved, how many of you have had this good man that you knew was the man you needed? You knew you needed to be married to this man. And one reason or another, you made a decision that would sabotage that relationship. She self-sabotaged a good relationship. She self-sabotaged it. She did something that she knew would result in that man breaking up with her. First, the cheating. That's number one. Before we talk about the pregnancy, it's the sliding around and the cheating on a man that don't deserve you to do that to him. By her own admission. So you couldn't wait to get on break to get back around the man that you was really attracted to and let him clap the cheeks. Then it was like, oh crap, I done messed around and got pregnant. Break don't last that long, depending on what break we talking about. Because if we talking about winter break, or we talking about, that's only a couple of weeks. Spring break is 1 week. So whatever break we talking about, you was back in school, back having a relationship with this man. And then when that next period rolled around and you was late, it was like, oh, but that's usually like a month or so. You don't notice that until the next time your period's supposed to come around and it don't happen. So it's like, oh my God. Okay. Panicking because if don't nothing else catch me up in this lie that I'm trying to live, it's going to be this kid. If don't nothing else catch me up, it's going to be this kid. So I don't know if he found out after she had a deletion or before. I have no idea the timeline. But she states that the man found out. Not that she confessed, not he found out. So that indicates that she was still trying to hide what she had done and have a relationship with the man that she knew she needed to be having a relationship with. And then they break up. Then she says something else very interesting. But before we get into that, we're going to go to a commercial break. I'm going to come back and deal with the super chats, and then we're going to finish, because this is a very important conversation. So after these messages, we'll be right back.
Hello, my Crimsonites and all of my supporters. I invite you to go and get your copy of my new book, Reclaiming the Black Feminine, The Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery, on sale now at crimsoncure.com. This is guaranteed to change your perspective and positively impact your life. So go ahead now to crimsoncure.com and get your copy today.
So you definitely want to go to crimsoncure.com, get your copy of Reclaiming the Black Feminine, Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery. The links are in the description and they are in the chat. We're getting the new shipment that should be due Monday. So for those of you, if you're able to put the book in the cart, we'll start shipping as soon as we receive those books. And I don't know how many likes we need, but I know I owe you a bam, 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 bam. We got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. We got to, All right. So go ahead and hit the like button. Let me go ahead and hit these super chats. Thank you, Steve. Said, what up, all you blessed peeps? Thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Lou Casey, for your super sticker. Thank you to Renzo. Say they don't forgive themselves as far too often. We've heard the same rhetoric and they'll never get out of the regret, knowing history repeats itself. Thank you, Frederick's Hyena Mathematics. She may be able to speak about it more freely, but I've never had a baby deletion, but I can only imagine that that's something that you continue to think about. I can't imagine just doing that and then not thinking about that. I know it's not the same as having a miscarriage, because baby deletions are purposeful. You do that intentionally, and miscarriages are not. But thank you. Thanos said, this isn't a bashing session. This is just an example of how decisions derail your future. Funny how you throw a baby away and then freeze them deviled eggs for the future. And I'm glad that you said that, because this doesn't have anything to do with coming for Kendra G. Because if I come for her on that level, then I got to come for every chick, right? And I don't have time to comfort people individually. She shared the story, and I'm relaying the story that she shared because it has to be, it's an important story. She told it for her own reasons, but I'm going over it so that women understand how you screw your whole life based on one or two, and people don't think it's fair, but life is not fair. Life is not fair. Okay? Life is not fair. Okay? If you are a person that has never done anything that was so egregious that your whole entire life just took a completely different turn for a negative, then you are one of few. I've had things that I've regretted doing or people that I regret befriending and things of that nature, but I don't have anything in my past or in my life where it's like this decision that was made when I was younger just completely screwed me for the base, essentially for the rest of my life, and I never recovered from that. But I realize I'm one of few people that's like that. Right? There are others, and if you're in that boat, especially the older you get, then you're blessed to not be that person where it's like, and it's something you think back on every day. And it's like, man, if I just had made a different decision, if I had not went over there, or if I had not talked to that person, or if I had not did this or not did that or did that different and blah, 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 then my life would have turned out this way or that. So that's why I gave her the bit of respect that I did in the beginning of the show for transparency's sake, and not trying to get in front of somebody and acting like she's holier than thou, like she ain't ever did nothing, because that would be the lie. Okay. So we get back to her story. We get back to her story. She then says later on down the line, we don't know how far down the line, her and the man, the good man that she was with in college, reconnect. Okay. So apparently this man loved her. He loved her. Okay. Some kind of time was passed or whatever, and they reconnect. Okay. She said that's how she even came to Chicago, is because that man was in Chicago. So she, they get back together to the point where they are engaged. This is important because Kendra had an opportunity to be married to a man by her own admission was good. Before she mentions the fact that he would bring up her cheating and the baby and all of these things, the thing that she did to him that was wrong, she said something else prior to that. Did anybody else catch why that relationship did not work? Did anybody catch why that didn't work? What was the other thing she said? If you did, exactly. She said that she had placed her career. She was chasing her career. And this is yet another trap that so many women fall into. Trying to chase a career and not being family oriented, family first. This is why I say, if women balanced things, they actually could, quote unquote, have it all. Okay? And when I say have it all, I don't mean in a delusional way. I mean, she's able to have some type of career or whatever, hobby, passion, whatever it is, but she's also able to be a wife and potentially a mother. Okay? Women have the capacity to do some mixture of those things. However, the failure is when she prioritizes her career over her family. That is where women fail. That is where they fail. If she just switched it, if Kendra had just switched it, she'd be married. The chances are high that she'd be married right now, and we'd still know who Kendra G was in the media film, in the media field. The reason why I say that is because most men, you got a few that's exceptions, but most men they're not actively trying to stop a woman from having some kind of career, especially if he meets her in college and she's going for some type of degree or something. If he meets her there, obviously she's there to get some type of degree so she can do some type of work or whatever it is she's trying to do. He know that. So very rarely are men that want to be your husband are actively trying to make you not do anything, not go to school, or not have a job, or not. Very rarely a man is doing that. More often than not, he's going to support her. If he sees that that what you're trying to do is a good thing, he don't got no problem with it and stuff like that. He don't see no issues with the field you trying to go into or how you trying to go about doing it or whatever. He actually will help you. He will support what you're doing. The only thing that he requires is that he is prioritized above that. That your pursuit of some type of education or some type of career or job is not interfering, impeding upon, or encroaching upon your ability to be his wife, to be his helpmeet, to be cooperative, to be supportive of him, and to be present in this relationship, to be emotionally present, to be mentally present, to be physically present. See, women have a problem balancing it. This is why so many women used to call Kevin Samuels' show, and they would talk about their career, blah, 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 and how they could not maintain the family life with the career life because work is always around. Work, whether they are entrepreneurs or whether they're hired by somebody or some company or got some boss or got something, whatever, that always take precedence over what she owes to her relationship. So Kendra actually tells us this. Well, I was chasing my career, which is what started the arguments probably 9 times out of 10. Probably 9 times out of 10, the argument would start based on her inability to prioritize their relationship over her career. Because here's the deal. The relationship is not starting on a clean slate. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what he said. I don't care what she said. Can't start on a clean slate with that same man because he's already still thinking about the fact that you cheated. The only accountability in this limited information that I have for him is that you don't take back cheaters. You don't take back a cheater. Okay? Especially, and the ladies may not like this, especially when women cheat. I don't agree with cheating either way, but the slight difference is this. Men can cheat physically, but not emotionally. He will have no emotional tie to the woman that he just laid down with. It literally can be just sex. And you do with that information what you will. I'm just pointing out the difference. If a woman cheats, it is not just the physical attraction that made her go over there. She emotionally connect with that man. On some level, she emotionally is connecting to that man. It's the ability of men to choose who they're going to emotionally connect with that actually makes polygyny okay and polyandry not okay. That's actually the real difference. Because if a woman is having sex with a man and then she get emotionally attached to some other man and she start having sex with that man and she cheat on her man, she's gonna start denying her man sexual access. I don't care what kind of hoe she is. She gonna start denying sexual access, and then her emotional set towards her man gonna change, and it's gonna change for the negative. It's gonna be cold because she's disconnecting from one man and attaching to another. It's just the way women work. It's just the way she works. It's just the way she works. Like I said, you do with that information what you will. I'm not saying anything is right or wrong. I'm just pointing out the psychological and the biological difference. A man can use sex to deepen his bond, but sex is not an emotional bond to him just off GP. He literally can have sex with a woman he can't stand and get hard and have sex with her. Do not like this woman. She disgusts him in every other way. Do you understand? And he can literally go and have sex with her and come back like nothing happened, because emotionally for him, nothing happened. Physically, something happened. Emotionally, nothing happened to him. So this is why women be like, well, do you love her? And he be like, nah, I don't even like her. And a lot of women get confused because it's like, well, why would you hurt my feelings for a woman you don't even like? But then you're going to be hurt either way, because if he say, yeah, I do have feelings for her, that's going to add another layer of pain to you. Like, oh, so you not only did you just have sex with her, like you like her. Well, do you love her more than me? Women start asking that. We just built different. Men choose when they want sex to be an emotional bond to them. The first thing is that they have to choose to love you first. They have to choose to love you first. And then sex for them becomes an emotional thing with you, or with the woman that they choose to do that with, to have the emotional bond with. Then that heightens the sex for him, and it creates or it deepens that emotionality for him. Women emotionally connect first, then move to the physical connections. That's why emotional cheating is a thing. See, women put that on men, but that's actually a woman thing, to emotionally emotional infidelity, because the physical is following right behind that. If she has physical access to that man and she starts getting emotionally attached to that man, it's not going to be nothing for him to get her in that bedroom. It's not going to be nothing. That's why the work husband that's a no. That's a no. All that work husband stuff, that's a no. Going and getting you a little work husband, that dude going to be able to bust you down because you're emotionally attached to that man in some kind of way. It's something you like about him and all that kind of stuff. And if all he had to do is apply just a little bit of pressure, and she gonna be somewhere in the closet, in the little janitor's closet on her knees. It's just gonna be the way it is. The only time, I'm gonna tell you this, and then I'm gonna move on from the topic and get back to Kendra G's story. The only time men emotionally step away from their women is when his needs are not getting fulfilled emotionally at all. And so then he'll look for a female somewhere that actually give him the femininity or the support or the kind words or whatever that he's looking for. However, most of the time he would prefer not to do that, because that's actually a little too real for him. That's more real to him than the physical sex. Stuff is scarier to him to be able to connect with another woman like that ain't you, than it is for him to connect with her physically. Because the physical, he can wipe his hands of it and go head on. But if he start getting his emotional needs met by this other woman, that's scary. That's scary. Am I right or wrong, brothers? He prefer that not to happen. That scares him. Because like, oh God. Because my wife will not do. And sometimes he'll come pressure you about it. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you fix my... See, if you don't fix the lunch and you don't get them the coffee and you don't kiss him goodbye for work and and the woman at work bring him lunch every day, you got a problem on your hands. If he never sexually or physically touched that woman, you got a problem. You got a bigger problem that she bring him a sandwich than if she bring him the cheeks. You got a bigger problem. If she study every day, bring him a sandwich and some coffee with a smile, and you don't do that, you don't never do it. Matter of fact, you have an attitude when he asks you for it. Not, oh, you oh boy. So let me round it back. Let me round it back to Kendra. To Kendra's story, Kendra G's story. The arguments likely mostly started because she put her career before that man. I'm going to tell you why he kept bringing up the cheating. He probably was bringing up the cheating more than he was bringing up that baby deletion. Because that baby wasn't none of his. I'm going to tell you why. Because now I'm giving you a second chance, and you put something else in front of me. First time you put a man in front of me, you prioritized another man in front of me. We broke up. I gave it some time. I gave myself some time. Tried to give you some time. We reconnect. We come back around. I tried to offer you another relationship to the point where he proposes to her. She accepts the proposal. They are now engaged. And then you found something else to prioritize in front of me. Now you put your work in front of me now. Just like you put that man in front of me. Remember when you put that dude in front of me? Remember when I was doing what I was supposed to be doing and then you put a man in front of me? Now we back in the same situation. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and now you going to put your job in front of me. Remember that? That's why he's bringing it up. I guarantee you that's why he was bringing it up. I guarantee you if you find that man right now and ask him why he was doing that, I guarantee you that's why he was bringing it up. Because ain't no way I done gave you a second chance and you're finding a way again to sabotage this relationship. That's the core of the problem in her story. Y'all will find men that you want, men that you need. Husbands, you'll find husbands, and you will ceaselessly sabotage those relationships. She did it twice to one man, twice to the same man, twice to the same man in her prime. Kendra G has never recovered from that. She has not, because she gained success in her professional career, but she is unfulfilled. I guarantee you she ain't ran into that man no more in no other form. And if she has, he was not interested in her. There was no way forward for a relationship. He may have already been taken or whatever, or just not interested in her or whatever the case may be. She's dated since then. She's had some men since then. Of course she has. But no husband. That was her husband. That man. God sent that man to her 2 times. And she fumbled 2 times. Okay? The Most High threw a touchdown pass to her twice. And she fumbled both of them on the goal line. And the Most High sent her a touchdown pass 2 times in the Super Bowl, and she fumbled them both. Same man. See, fumbled the first time, but then there was a flag on the play. So then she could repeat down. That's gold. That's gold. You can repeat down. Repeat the down. All right. We was on 3rd down. Repeat the down. Yeah, one more chance, y'all. Threw another touchdown pass. A sure pass. Not a defender in sight. And she manages to fumble the ball at the goal line. Game over. You do not get to come back to the big game, to the Super Bowl. She ain't made it back to the Super Bowl like the Bears ain't made it back to the Super Bowl since 85. Oh no, they did go back to the Super Bowl. They lost. They lost it. I do remember though. They did. They did go. And then they lost. What year was that? The Bears went to the Super Bowl that last time. Then lost. What, the Super Bowl? Or did they lose in the playoffs? I can't remember. Thank you. They played the Colts in 06. Yeah. Yeah. A winnable game that they lost. Snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. That's what y'all do. You snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. You'll have what you need in your hand and do like that. And then 10 years later, 15 years later, 20 years later, you miserable. And then it just feels better to blame the men. That the men are no good, the men have changed. How many of you have fumbled your husband? How many of you fumbled your husband? And how many of you are going to be honest enough with yourself to tell yourself that you fumbled your husband? Don't make an excuse about what he did and this, that, and the third. Ain't nobody said he was perfect. He don't got to be perfect to be your husband. You was with him. He was good enough when you were young and when you wanted him. And then you self-sabotaged everything. Later on, you wanted him back. Couldn't get him back. She had a second chance, still couldn't do it. Still couldn't get it right. I guarantee you she want that man. Maybe not that specific man, but she was hoping that she would get another chance at a man with perhaps those qualities that she could marry. It brings back that saying that my grandfather used to say, when you could, you wouldn't. Now you want to and you can't. When you could, you wouldn't. Now you want to and you can't. That is the life of so many women. When you could have been cooperative, when you could have been a wife, when you could have been more understanding, when you could have shut your mouth a few more times and opened your ears a few more times and had some understanding a few more times and some compromise a few more times and, some balance a few more times and not argued if you just had when you could have made those decisions, you would not. You refused. You wasn't going to settle. And there wasn't no man going to tell you. And can't no man make you do. And he controlling you. And you ain't going to be controlled. And you ain't going to let no man just talk to you. And and you letting him. When you could, you wouldn't. And now when you 48, you want to. Now you want a man to come in and tell you what to do so you can sit down. Now you can't get it. Won't no man take you seriously now. And he may not know your past. He may not know what you've done or whatever. But it's just the way the ball bounces. There's exceptions. There's exceptions to every rule. Do it when you can. When you young, that's when you supposed to be getting married. I'm too young. The trick, I'm gonna tell y'all the biggest trick. The biggest trick that young women get told and young women get is talking about you too young to get married. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you're not too young to take D and you're not too young to go down to Planned Parenthood and get a baby snatched out of you, and you're not too young to run the street, and you're not too young to do this and do that, you're not too young to get married. All that, I gotta go get some experiences, i.e., I gotta go get ran through by a bunch of dudes so I can know what I like. Guess what? At the end of that, you still not gonna know what you like. Because women don't know what they want till it get in their face. And a man somewhere tell them what they want. And they be like, oh, yeah, that do sound good. I do like that. Because a woman cannot tell you what she wants. She can only tell you what she don't want. That's the only thing we know. The only thing we know is what we don't want. We know what we don't like. That is why when you ask women what they want in a man, they start telling you what I don't want, blah, 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 blah. That usually come with an experience and a negative emotional attachment. That's why we know what we don't want. Because there was a negative emotional reaction or response or attachment to that thing. We experienced that, or we watch somebody experience it, and we know that it's just that don't sit right with us, and we just not gonna like that at all. We know what we don't want. We have zero idea what we do want. Zero. Let me get to these super chats. Thank you, Bakish, for your super sticker, sweetheart. Thank you so much, Dale, as well, for your contribution. Thank you, Jared. Said he kept bringing it up because she was focused on her career, not him. And the issue was never reconciled. She didn't make him feel comfortable. Exactly. She didn't put him in what women call an emotional safe space. She did not reassure him that it would never happen again. And as long as she was putting her career in front of him, there was no way for her to assure him of that because it was happening again. It just wasn't a man. She was putting something else in front of him. It just wasn't a man. And she thought because it wasn't a man, wasn't a physical man, that he should have been okay. The career stands in the same slot. She put it in the same slot. So you absolutely right. She didn't make him feel comfortable as if he were a priority this time around versus the first time around, because he was not a priority either time. So you're absolutely correct. Thank you, 39 Dina. Thank you, Big Sneeze. Said great breakdown and lesson for us all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. HVAC said gospel according to the future, to the street she shall return. World War III is around the corner and hyenas are gonna go crazy. Kendra G is bitter. Thank you, Ty Box, and said Kendra loved the man she wanted, not the man she needed. Thank you again. HVAC said, well, that explains why my mom seems bitter at 53 now. I told her even when I was 14 to 18 to get good men and a husband and remarry. She played all her 40s, her last chance, and has nothing. Oh, well, it's a sad sight to see them do that. And it's like, you could have been married 20 years ago. You could have, but you so unworkable, you so hard-headed, and you so stiff-necked that you can't get along with the simpiest of men to get a husband. And it's like, you need a man, Ma. Thank you once again. HVAC said Jim Ross, down goes the game. Triple H, game over. Thank you, Reka. So how can we prevent self-sabotage? I'm suffering. We can spend a minute or two on that. We're going to come back to that. Thank you, Victor, for your super sticker, sweetheart. Thank you, Jared. It's always something in front of men. Why baby mamas have trouble. They put kids, other baby fathers, her job, her friend group, and free time in front. Exactly. And thank you, Philip, for your contribution, sweetheart. And thank you, Dee says, send in my tithes. Thank you so much. So we're going to go back to the question of self-sabotage. We're not going to spend too long, but I do want to answer her. I'm assuming this is a woman. How can we prevent self-sabotage? The main way to prevent self-sabotage is to figure out why you're sabotaging. If you are in a good relationship, why don't you want this relationship? What is it in you that don't want it? Are you still in here? By the way. You still in here? Are you able to talk for a quick second? Because going through chat, that's not really going to work. We'll spend probably no more than 5 or 10 minutes on it. But if you can, hit that link and you will be able to join me up here for a moment. Just for a moment. Just because the talking through the chat gets really that link is only for Miss Rika. We'll give you a couple minutes to figure it out. You don't know. You actually don't have to be on camera at this time. We'll give you just a moment or two. The link, if you're on, I don't know if you even have StreamYards as an app. If you're unable, just say that you're not able to put it, and just put it in the chat that you can't do it. It's okay if you're unable. Because I know this is... Okay. If you want your cameras on, if you don't mind your camera to be on. So I see you. Is this you in the background? So I'm gonna let you join. So you're on. Can you hear? Are you able to hear or speak? Because you're not muted. She might not know how to work this thing. As long as you're not muted, if you're on your phone, your microphone should just be automatic. I see that you learned how to turn the camera off, which is fine. But the mic, since it's not muted, should be on. She dropped off. She may not be able to do it. If she's on her phone, StreamYards is weird like that. StreamYards is actually weird like that. It doesn't like mobile. It doesn't like mobile. All right, so she's back. We're going to try to join you again, sweetheart. Can you hear now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can
How
you
old
hear
are you?
me?
Yeah, I can
I'm
hear you.
28.
You're 28. Okay. Are you married or in a long-term relationship?
I'm married now for a year and a half. It is with a black man. He's gonna end up watching this probably when he's off work. I'm very lucky to have him. He's out there installing roofing out in the wind, and he says he's doing really dangerous work, and I'm at home and I get to cook, and I'm currently like playing video games, and I self-sabotage myself all the time, but I don't know why I'm doing it. And I was raised by a woman who married a Hutterite and divorced him, and went down the independent woman route.
How old were you when they divorced?
I was 9, just turning 10.
Did she ever get remarried?
Yes, she did.
How old were you when she did that?
I'm gonna say like it was 5 years ago. She remarried, but they were together for a very long time prior. So they've been together for at least 15 years.
So you were still a child when she got into a relationship with him, or you were still with her, living with her?
I was yeah, about that. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. All right. So you say you self-sabotage. And how long have you been with your husband? You say you've been married a year, but how long have you been with him?
We're together now 5 years.
5 years. Okay. And it's already happening. You say you're playing video games while he's working. Here's the deal. I know most of us were raised in non-ideal situations, whether that was single parenthood, your parents divorced, somebody died, somebody was on drugs, whatever the case may be. Most of us don't have an ideal two-parent, perfect, quote unquote, perfect way that we were raised. So it gives us issues. Gives us issues. And sometimes we don't recognize what those issues are until we get grown. And then we get in adult situations, and then we get in relationships, and then those things manifest themselves. And a lot of times they manifest themselves in ways that destroy what we actually say we want. How old is he?
He's 34. He turns 35 in May.
Do you have children?
No, we want to, but he's African and he wants me to be a good wife and, you know, like not be a bad mother. He wants me to be 100% on the wife and the mother scale. So he'd rather have, you know, like a perfect wife than have a bad mother, if that makes sense.
What are his top 3 complaints about you as a wife?
Being consistent, sometimes following instructions, like listening, and then sometimes I kick back, and that's I kind of like blame it on the being raised to be independent. So yeah, it's kicking back when he's like following instructions, and sometimes we'll have conversations. It could be even a half hour or longer, and I could have little like kickback moments, but I am pretty submissive deep down in there. I just have little lashes, and he wouldn't have married me if he didn't see that, you know? That's
Which
what
is
he
true.
tells me.
Which is true. He married you because he sees it, but he has to see it consistently. More importantly, you have to see it consistently. The other thing we can't do is make excuses about, well, it's only a little or it's only sometimes. What we think is small a lot of times to us in our eyes is bigger than we give it credit for being in our husband's eyes. Most of the time, it's the little things. It's those so-called small little lashes or those small moments where it's like, oh, well, I don't want to, why are you asking me to do, I do that. So why you, or I do this, so why are you expecting me to do that? Or whatever the nature of it is. Doesn't matter what the nature or the details or the nuances are. Plenty of women do that with their husbands. And one of the reasons that they do it, especially with good husbands, is because he's good. It's because he's going to display patience. It's because he's going to try to display some understanding about where you're coming from or why you do what you do. Here's the thing. Just because he gives patience about it or he attempts to understand why you do what you do is not a pass to do it. He's expecting that if he gives you patience and if he gives you time to self-correct and if he tells you what the issues are, he's expecting the self-correction. Men get tired when time goes by and they don't see you working on it. Because when we want them to work on something, we want it done. If we say you hurt my feelings when you say such and such, or when you do a certain thing, or when you blah, 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 whatever it is that hurts my feelings, or it makes me feel like you don't love me, or it makes me feel not valuable to you, we expect them the next time that situation comes around or the next opportunity that they get, that they're going to be mindful that we told them that it hurts us or it whatever it does to us. And if they don't do that, we're mad at them. And what do we feel? We feel like, well, you don't value what I'm saying. Like, you're not listening to me. Same thing. You're not listening to me. That's what he's saying. Listen to me. Not always just in that moment when he's telling you something, that too. But when he say, listen to me, if he has a conversation with you about the things that he's having an issue with, whether you see those things as big or small is immaterial to the fact that he sees them big enough to bring them to you. And he's not just dismissing them. Because guaranteed some of the stuff he's dismissing because it's not that big of a deal. It's not a deal breaker for him in this relationship. But if he keeps bringing up something or a set of things and he brings it up over and over, whether that over and over is twice a year or whether it's once a week, doesn't matter. If a man keep repeating something, it means something to him. Whether it's negative or positive, it means something to him. And it behooves us as women, if we say we want to be good wives and we say we want this man and we want a long-lasting relationship with him, it behooves us to take into account what he said and literally do the work. Do the work. If he wants you to be at home while he's out there busting his butt on a roof and all that he's asking is that the dinner be cooked or the house be clean or whatever it is he's asking you to do, and he consistently come home and that's not done, you don't care what he said. Regardless of what comes out of your mouth later on and that you love him and stuff like that. Love is not just a feeling. Love is the duty of the relationship. That is how you display the emotion of love that you have for him. It's the duty. When y'all don't like each other, what keeps you together? The duty of the relationship. Because whether you have an argument with him this morning or not, he gonna go out there and bust his butt. That's not gonna stop him.
Yeah,
if something happened to you and you call him, I don't care if y'all had a knockdown drag out and you call that man and said, you gotta come get me because such and such happened. He's dropping everything and he coming to you. He's coming. It don't matter the argument you had. It don't matter y'all been running around the house ain't talking to each other. It doesn't matter at that point. The duty is what matters at that point. He's got to uphold that all the time. You have to uphold it all the time, no matter the emotional state. You can be mad, you can be glad, you can be sad, you can be whatever it is that you are. But Miss Rebecca, you have to look inside of you. If he has to repeat himself over the same few things, you have to look inside of you. It's not the environment he created. It's not. You're in charge of that home environment. You're in charge of the emotional work of the relationship. He's doing the external physical work. You have to do the internal emotional work. You have to make that emotional safe space to him. You have to make him feel. You have to make him feel that when he says something to you, you've taken that and you've taken it seriously and you're working on that. I guarantee you, as long as he sees the evidence of that work, he's not going to keep on saying it because he's going to see that she listened to me. She listened what I wanted.
Yeah.
So that's what I got for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart. And the best of luck to you and your husband.
Have a good day.
All right, you too. All right. How do we like that? We like that? We might like a call-in show. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. Let me get to these last two super chats. Thank you again to Renzo said to stop self-sabotage before it happens versus needing to prevent it is don't do today what you'll be sorry for tomorrow knowingly. Very good advice. And thank you, Mark Davis, for your contribution. We're going to go ahead and we are going to wrap this up. So I want you guys to jump down into the description box. Not in the description box. Jump down into the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you have not, once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonite.